So for today's practice, if you have a couple blocks, I would grab them. If not, it's okay. But if you do have the blocks, go ahead and grab those. You might want to use those towards the end. We'll do a pose called Virasana if you're familiar with that. But you can always sit in easy seated pose if you don't have any blocks and if Virasana doesn't feel great for your knees. So this is an intermediate yoga class. If you don't consider yourself intermediate, that's okay. Just take breaks whenever you need to. I still might have to take breaks. I've got my flow printed here, but we'll see. I can tell already that I'm going to get pretty sweaty. So just do what you can. Again, whenever you need to take breaks, take a child's pose, do whatever you need to do. So let's begin in easy seated pose or Sukhasana. If you need to prop yourself up on a block or couch cushion or whatever to get your pelvis into a neutral position, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, from here, just pull the flesh away from your sitting bones so that it feels like both of your sitting bones are rooting down into the mat, and it feels like your tailbone's not tucking under, nor is your booty sticking out. It's just nice and neutral. Okay, from here, lift the rib cage up to lengthen the spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears, and then hands can be down onto the knees. And let's have the palms open today. Bring your chin parallel to the ground and close your eyes. From here, take a couple cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, just letting go of anything that you brought onto your mat with you today, letting it go. And then start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. See if you could start breathing into the count of 4 and out to the count of 4. Eyes are gently closed. Let the face relax as well, the forehead, the eyebrows, the jaw. Just expanding the ribs in every direction as you inhale and then softening as you exhale, letting go of anything you no longer need. And you don't need to put a name on those things or label on those things, just setting the intention to let go of those things that you no longer need. Letting those things go so that we can build the things that we do want. You can start to think about an affirmation that would make sense for you today around doing just that, around creating the life that you want, around manifesting. So maybe it is I create on your inhale, and then on your exhale, my reality. Or I achieve my goals. Whatever resonates with you. Good. Just 2 more times with your breath. Good. And then slowly let your head hang forward. You could turn your palms over onto your knees. Just let your head hang, keeping the rest of the spine straight. Notice the stretch wherever you feel it. Maybe it's in the neck or the shoulders, the upper back, the spine. And then let the head roll over to the right. So let the right ear hang towards the right shoulder. And then bring the head forward into the other side. Forward into the first side. And forward into the second side. Bring your head back down to center. Let the head hang. Take another breath here. Blink your eyes open. And slowly lift your head. So anytime throughout today's practice, if you feel like you need to just let go of anything you're working up to the surface, or anytime you think it would feel good, just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right, from here, bring your right hand to your right side. Inhale, bring your left arm up, and then exhale, reach over to your right. Inhale, come up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, other side, both shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, come up, palms touch. Exhale, first side, really rooting the sitting bones down and stretching. Inhale up. Exhale, second side. One more on each side. Inhale up. Exhale, reach. Inhale up. And exhale, reach. Inhale up, palms touch. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath here. Lower your head slightly. Blink your eyes open. And make your way onto your hands and knees. All right, so on the hands and knees, we're coming into tabletop where the wrists are directly under the shoulders, the knees are directly under the hips, and the toes are pointing straight back. As you inhale, start to look out in front of you, draw the chest forward, shoulders back, and then as you exhale, chest lifts up, or chin towards the chest, sorry. Inhale, look out, arching the back. Exhale, round the back, chin to chest. Inhale, look out. Exhale, round. Do a couple more on your own and really try to get the full expression of the pose, the full expansion of the spine, as long as it doesn't hurt. One more. Good. And then come back to center. Bring your knees as wide as your mat. Bring your big toes together to touch for modified child's pose. Hips back towards the heels, forehead onto the mat, or stack the fists and place your forehead onto the top fist. Whichever feels better for you. Breathe. Come back to your affirmation here. Connect it to the breath. As you breathe, feel the ribs expand on the back body. Good. And then come back to the hands and knees. Bring your knees back towards the center, so coming into tabletop. And then walk the knees back about 3 inches, curl the toes under, and then lift the knees for your plank pose. So here, you want to make sure that your belly's not hanging down and your booty's not sticking out. So pretty much your torso is parallel to the mat. So from the crown of the head pretty much to the tailbone, it's almost parallel to the mat. Okay, and then going from at a downward angle from the pelvis down to the heels. So think about drawing your navel towards your spine, pushing into the hands, and even think about rounding the upper back here. Okay, so tucking the tailbone a little bit, navel to spine, reaching the chest forward, shoulders back, crown of the head forward. I know it's a lot. Breathe. Let's hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then go to your downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Whew, that feels good. All right, so in your down dog, just remember to keep your knuckles pushing down into the mat. Roll the upper arms away from each other, broadening the upper back, and then rolling the forearms in, knuckles heavy. And come forward back to your plank and actually push a little bit further forward so the shoulders are past the wrists. Knees can come down or they can stay lifted. Lower all the way down to the belly. From here, come onto your forearms and interlace your fingers. Now here you want your elbows directly under the shoulders, and we're going to come into a forearm plank. So curl the toes under, inhale first, and then exhale. Lift the belly and the knees. If that's too much, the knees can stay down, but otherwise have the knees lifted. Okay, tuck the tailbone slightly, navel towards the spine, just like we just did in plank, and even push into the elbow. See if you could try to round the space in between the shoulders a little bit. Tuck your chin slightly so your neck is long. Push through the heels as in one direction as you push through the crown of the head in the other direction. Breathe, smile a little bit. Let's just hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. All right, release. Just come down to your belly, or you can come cross your forearms kind of and then place your head onto the forearms. Whew. Take a couple cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then just chill out here for a minute. All right, so now we're gonna kind of do that, but it's gonna be on the side. So we're gonna do like a forearm side plank, okay? So just face me for the first one so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So you want whatever the bottom forearm is, whichever forearm is on the mat, you want that parallel to the top of the mat, to the short edge of the mat. Spread your fingers apart, push the knuckles down. Have your knees bent a little bit. Now what's gonna happen is we're gonna lift everything up. Just wait a second. Let me show you first. We're going to lift everything up so that only the forearm and then the knife edge or the side of the bottom foot is touching. You don't want the ankle touching. You don't want the calf or anything like that touching, all right? This is a really challenging one. Use your other arm to help lift you up. So bend your knees, inhale. Exhale, lift. All right, so really push through the feet, push into the heel and the ball of the feet so that you are not collapsing. You don't want the ankle on the ground. Lift the hips up, 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 up. You can keep the opposite hand on the ground, or you can bring it to your hips. Hold it. 5, 4, keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. All right, release. Okay, switch over to the other side. Whew. Okay, forearm parallel, bottom forearm parallel to the short edge of the mat. Bend your knees. You can use your other hand to help you lift. Flex your feet a little bit. Inhale. And exhale, lift. Straighten the legs. Lift, 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 lift. Even try to arch the side a little bit so that only the knife edge of the foot is touching. Breathe. Smile. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. Come back down to your belly and rest again on the forearms, or just turn your head in the opposite direction. Just come back to some cleansing breaths. Okay, good job. Now bring your hands beside your chest, a little bit towards the feet for Cobra Pose. Okay, on your inhale, start to push into the hands, lifting the chest up. Exhale, just draw the shoulders away from the ears a little bit, tuck the chin slightly. Breathe here and hold. Elbows are bent and pointing back, drawing the chest forward, shoulders back, lower down, curl the toes under, and then push up in a straight line to plank or modified plank on the knees, and then hips up and back, downward facing dog. So let's breathe and hold here. Walk the dog a little bit, push one heel down and then the other heel down. Now you can stay here in your down dog or take a child's pose, or if you want to build some more heat, let's do some bunny hop. So walk your feet in a couple inches, big toes touch, bend the knees, inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, little or a big hop. Do 3 of those on your own. Okay, and then after you've done 3, or if you're in child's pose or down dog, just walk your feet forward now towards the front of the mat, bringing either your big toes together to touch or the feet are fist width. Bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, halfway up, monkey pose. Exhale, fold over the legs. Your knees can bend. You don't need to touch the ground. Push into the feet. Look out in front of you. Inhale, rise up. Circle the arms out to the sides. Palms touch overhead. And exhale, hands to your heart. Take some cleansing breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Find your gazing point and come back to your affirmation. And bring your arms down by your sides. Okay, make sure that you're pushing into all 4 corners of the feet. Have a gentle squeeze in the quads and muscles right above the knees. Neutral pelvis, lift the rib cage, relax the shoulders. Chin parallel to the ground. Breathe here. If you need to get a drink, you can do that. Otherwise, just stay there and breathe. Find your gazing point. All right, good. So exhale, push down into all 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, fold. You can bend the knees a little bit so you can tip your pelvis, let your arms and head hang. Inhale, come to your monkey pose. So if you have your hands on the ground, that's fine, but you need to have a flat back here, straight lengthened spine, okay, not rounded. Now on your next exhale, step back to your plank pose. Hold here, or we're gonna push forward and back with the toes. Push forward and back. So the shoulders are coming forward and back. Navel to spine. Rounding the upper back a little bit. Push forward one more time. Inhale. Knees can come down or stay lifted. Exhale, lower in a straight line. Uncurl your toes. Inhale, chest forward and up, cobra. Exhale, lower down, curl the toes under. Inhale, push up to plank or modified plank. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, however you can get it there, bring your right foot through, low lunge. Flatten the back foot, and then windmill the arms up. Now bring your hands to your hips for a moment. Make sure that your right heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. Turn the back toes in slightly. Okay, and then bend the right knee. It should be pretty much right on top of the ankle, not past. Level out the pelvis, arms up and parallel to the ground. Gaze out through the right middle finger. Breathe here. Right knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes. Feel free again to take cleansing breaths. Come back to your affirmation. Okay, one of the amazing things about yoga is that it helps us to gain control over our thoughts instead of our thoughts having control over us. Okay, inhale, lift your rib cage, lengthen. Exhale, right forearm to the right leg, left arm overhead with the palm facing down. So that action happens from the shoulder. Close the armpit. Make sure not to dump into your bottom shoulder. If you want to bring the right hand down to the ground, you could either bring it down to the ground or to the block, but only do that if your right knee is at a 90-degree angle. Okay, you don't want to try to do that if you can't get the right knee to a 90-degree angle. Just, again, make sure not to dump into the bottom shoulder. Okay, it's going to get a little bit tricky. Now bring both hands down to the ground. Lift your back heel. So now you're like in a lunge. Keep your left hand down. Walk your right foot to the right and come onto the knife edge of your back foot. Yes, lift your hips. Stay there or stack the feet. Stay there or top arm up. You could do whatever variation here that you like. If you grab the foot and bring it up, or tree, anything like that. Just think about making an arc with the side body so that you are only on the knife edge of the bottom foot. I like to do a side stretch here and reach the top arm overhead. Good. And then make your way to your plank. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, lower with or without the knees. Elbows point back. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, chest forward and up, cobra. Exhale, come down, curl the toes under. Inhale, push up in a straight line. And then exhale, hips up and back. So by lowering back down after our cobra, it helps you to build a lot more arm strength rather than just going straight into down dog from cobra. That's why I do that. So bend the knees, inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, left foot through. Flatten the back foot. Warrior two. On the left side, Virabhadrasana 2. Bring your hands to your hips for a moment. Left heel in line with the arch of the back foot. Turn the back foot in slightly. Left knee is pretty much right above the ankle if possible, pointing in the same direction as the toes. Level pelvis. Lift the rib cage. Arms up, parallel to the ground. Gaze out through the left middle finger. Breathe. Come to your affirmation. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, left forearm to the left leg, right arm overhead. Okay, so again, make sure not to dump into the bottom shoulder. Top arm is rotated so that you're trying to close the armpit. Either left forearm is on the leg or hand to the ground, whatever you want to do. Whatever you can do with good form. Breathe. This is Parshva Konasana, side angle stretch. Twist the belly button. Open, 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 open. Good. And then on your exhale, both hands down on either side of the left foot. Keep the right hand down. Walk the left foot over to the left. Come onto the knife edge, the side of the bottom foot, the side of the right foot. Lift your hips up. So your right hand and your right ankle should be in line. Lift the hips up, top arm can go up, you could stack the hips. Again, do whatever variation you did on the other side. Try to make that arc. Breathe, smile. And then make your way to your plank. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, lower with or without the knees. I'm going to lower the knees because I'm getting tired. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, chest forward and up, cobra pose. Exhale, lower down and then just rest on one cheek. Whew. Take some cleansing breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel free to exhale on a sigh. It feels really good. All right, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Try to push up in a straight line. Try not to roll up. And then hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Inhale, look forward at the end of the exhale. Right foot through, low lunge. Now keep your back heel lifted this time. So the back toes are pointing forward and rise up for a crescent warrior. Right knee is bent towards 90 degrees. Bend your back knee a little bit, so that you can draw your navel towards the spine and lengthen the tailbone. So your pelvis is neutral. So that means the front hip bones are level to the back hip bones. And then you would just straighten your leg from there as far as you can go without tipping the pelvis forward. You can bring your arms up overhead, wrap the shoulders. Good. Now kind of circle the arms down and around. Put all the weight into the right foot. Straighten the right leg, but don't lock it. Coming into warrior three, lifting the back foot off the ground. Okay, so you're in a straight line from the back heel all the way up to the fingertips, or you can bring your hands to your heart and be in a straight line just to the crown of the head. And you just lower down to where it feels good for you, not going past parallel to the ground. Back toes are pointing down. They want to turn out, so watch that. Okay, bend the front knee, come back to your crescent warrior. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, so you could stay there, take a child's pose or move through a vinyasa. We've only got a couple more. Inhale, forward, shoulders past the wrists. Exhale, lower. Inhale through cobra or up dog. Exhale, back down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, down dog. Bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, left foot through. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, wrap the shoulders. Again, bend the back knee a little bit, lengthen the tailbone down, front knee's bent towards 90. Find your gazing point, come back to your affirmation. Good. Circle the arms around, put all the weight into the left foot. And warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. Navel towards the spine, arms overhead or hands to the heart. Back toes pointing down. Bend the front knee. Carefully make your way back to your crescent. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last vinyasa, do it with me. Inhale, come forward, shoulders past the wrist. Exhale, lower. Inhale through, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back down. Curl the toes under. Inhale, push up. Exhale, hips up and back. Okay, come forward to your plank. Shoulders a little bit past your wrist, knees down. Okay, so I want you to think about tucking your tailbone a little bit, navel to spine, just bringing the pelvis into neutral. And then as you inhale, bend the elbows so that they point back. Exhale, back up. So tricep push-ups. Now you can just bend the elbows a tiny bit. You don't have to go to 90 degrees. Okay, so inhale, down. Exhale up, but don't go past 90 degrees. Navel to spine. Do 5. Keep the shoulders plugged in. Good. And then child's pose. Modified child's pose. Knees can be apart. You can place your forehead onto a block or stacked fists or the floor. My heart rate's still kind of lifted, so I like to have my head up rather than down. Just feels better for me. Take some cleansing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Start to slow down. Okay, now slowly start to come back up to the hands and knees. Keep your knees wide and we're going to thread the needle. Okay, so thread the left arm under the right, bringing the left side of the head to the ground. You want your right elbow to be towards 90 degrees. Okay, so push into the right hand and really roll the top shoulder back, opening the chest. Push the back of the bottom arm and hand into the ground. So the arm that's straight, push that down into the mat so that you feel more of a stretch in the left shoulder. It'll be like right on the shoulder blade. You might also feel it in the spine and maybe the rib cage. Just breathe here. Nice deep breaths. Good. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, other side. So right arm's going out straight. Push the back of the right arm and hand into the ground. With the left hand, push the top shoulder open or back. You want to make sure the head's on the ground. Relax the face. Deep breaths. Good, and come back to center. Now lower down onto your belly. Or rest on whatever, the opposite cheek of whatever you rested on last time. If you can remember, just take some breaths here. Good. Now bring your right arm straight out to the right. Okay, so it's straight out. It's kind of like a T. It's at a right angle. From there, from that right angle, walk your right hand forward about 2 inches towards the top of the mat. Now bend your left hand in, your left elbow in, and push your chest open so that you're looking away from the right arm. If you can, relax the head down onto the ground, if that feels okay. And breathe here. Only go as far in this pose as it feels good for you. Good. Come back to center and then let's switch it out. So right arm in, left arm goes straight out and then walk it about 2 inches forward. Okay, bend your right elbow in and then push open. Try to let your head relax down on the ground. Relax your face, breathe. Good. Come back to the belly and bring the hands on either side of the chest. And then push yourself up to the hands and knees. All right, so now this is where we're gonna come into Virasana if you have the blocks. If this pose is part of your practice and you know you don't need blocks, fine. Or you can just come into easy seated pose. Otherwise, I'm gonna show you from behind. Well, I'll show you both ways. So we're gonna have the knees about parallel. Okay, so the knees are parallel. Now I'm gonna turn around. From here, you'll separate the feet a little bit, put the block like wide way, so it's the wide way, and you could even do 2 blocks. This is going to depend on your knees, and then you'll sit onto the block. You want both feet pointing straight back, so you don't want them turned in. That's the key. They're pointing straight back. You want the knees pointing straight forward. Whenever you start to get rid of blocks, it gets harder to keep that alignment. Okay, so if you only sit on one block, really focus on pushing the toenails down into the mat and keeping the knees pointing straight forward. You might need to kind of like actively, my legs just turn in. So I have to be a little bit more active and conscious about keeping the knees pointing straight forward, okay? Just bring your hands onto your thighs here, palms facing. Let's actually have the palms facing up. Take some cleansing breaths. Chin is parallel to the ground. So with the palms up, we're signifying that we're working anything up to the surface that needs to be let go so that we can create the reality that we desire. Letting all that old stuff go. And start to slow down the breath. So you're still breathing in as far as you can go and breathing out as far as you can go comfortably. But now just see how many counts your inhale takes. Maybe it's 3, 4, 5. And then let your exhale be 1, 2, or 3 counts longer than that inhale. So for example, if you breathe into 5, so you can exhale to 8. Just find a rhythm that feels good for you. Let your face relax. Try not to arch the back too much here. Neutral pelvis. Connect your affirmation to your new rhythm of breath. Good, and then lower your head slightly. Blink your eyes open. And then slowly lift your head. All right, so we're gonna go into eagle arms. So bring your arms out to your sides. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, cross your right arm over the left at the elbows. Okay, now point both fingertips up. Both fingers, both sets of fingers on the hands, point them up. Okay, so you'll probably bring the backs of the forearms together and the backs of the hands. This would be one of the first variations. If that's too difficult, totally fine. Just see if you can grab your shoulders with your hands. But otherwise, point both sets of fingertips up, backs of the hands touching at somewhere. If that feels good, maybe you can wrap even further and have the palms touch, okay? But Don't do anything that's not feeling good for you. Now, what I want you to think about here is instead of letting the hands come in towards the head, push the hands forward so that they're more directly above the elbows. Push the elbows forward and lift the elbows up just a little bit so that they're more level with the shoulders. Now, if you want to get into the neck a little bit, you can very gently and carefully let the head come forward and just roll it a little bit from side to side. Just getting in there to the shoulders. Good. And then release. Reach the arms out. Inhale. And then exhale, bring them down. Do a couple shoulder circles, head rolls, whatever you need to do. Okay. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, cross the left arm over the right. Point both sets of fingertips up. Backs of the hands might be touching, maybe the palms. Okay, push the hands forward so that the wrists are above the elbows. Lift the elbows up so that they're in line with the shoulders. And breathe here. So these are Garudasana arms or eagle arms. Can let the head come down a little bit and roll it. Just getting into the neck and the traps. Good, and then gently release, reach the arms out, inhale, and exhale, arms down. Again, some shoulder circles that you need to do. Let's do a yoga mudra here. So just interlace your hands behind your back and do a big shoulder roll. Gently start to pull the arms away from the back without collapsing the chest or without jutting the chin forward. So keep the rib cage lifted as you pull the arms away from the back, chin pulled back in space slightly and parallel to the ground. Switch the clasp of your hands. Good. And release. Now, you could stay up actually on the block. You don't have to. You can come to seated. I'm just going to stay on here because I'm already here. And then just extend your legs out in front of you for a moment. I'll rock a little bit from side to side with the legs. Now, cross the right leg under, having your right knee pointing straight forward. And then cross your left foot over. Okay, so if you'd feel better on the floor, totally fine, do that. I just want to make sure we're doing a seated twist. So I want to make sure that your pelvis is neutral. So the leg that's crossed over, that foot is flat onto the ground. Okay, now if this makes what happens when we're on the floor a lot of times is it makes the booty lift up. So we don't want that. You want both sitting bones rooted into the mat or onto the block. If you can't make that happen or you don't have blocks, just don't cross the foot all the way over. Just put it in front of the shin. Okay, that's fine. All right, so now the lifted knee is pointing straight up. Bring your right hand behind. Now you might need to pull your belly over a little bit, okay, over the leg. That's okay, holding on to the knee that's pointing up towards the sky. On your inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. You can hold on to that leg however you can. You can coat hang it. That's usually how I do it. That's just bending the elbow and putting the knee into the crook of the elbow. Just really make sure here that you're twisting just from the mid and upper back. You're not torquing the low back to get into a deeper stretch. Look back to where it feels good for you. On your inhale, lengthen. And on your exhale, maybe twist a little bit further if it's available to you. Come back to that rhythm of breathing where your exhale is a little bit longer. Come back to your affirmation. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Close your eyes or have a gazing point. Good, and come back to center and switch it out. So right leg under, left leg over. On your inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, twist. Maybe pull your belly over the leg a little bit. It's totally fine. On your inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Shoulders away from the ears. Just turn your head back to where it feels good for you. Relax the face. This is half Lord of the Fishes pose. Good, and come back to center. Now extend the legs out into a V. So just extend the legs out into a straddle. If you're sitting on a block, that's fine. You can stay there because we want to start to tip the pelvis forward a little bit. If you're not sitting on the block and you have them handy, can tilt the pelvis forward, bringing the elbows onto the blocks. If you can do that, keeping a nice long spine. You don't want to round the back in order to bring the elbows down. So you want to stay in a straight line or a neutral spine by tilting the pelvis forward. If you can place your forehead on something, that feels really nice. If you're by your couch, you could do it on your couch too. Just place your forearms onto your couch, forehead onto the forearms. Relax the face. Relax the jaw. Come back to your rhythm of breathing and your affirmation. Slowly make your way up. Keep your eyes closed and just notice how you feel here. You can blink your eyes open and lay all the way down onto your back. Bring your knees in towards your chest and just rock a little bit from side to side, massaging the spine. Good. Extend your legs up towards the sky. Now you can have your knees bent. We're not really trying to get a stretch here. We're just doing an inversion. Okay, so where the feet are above the heart, it's good to strengthen the heart and it's good to boost immunity. It's also good to help with varicose veins. Okay, so just having the feet above like the belly or the chest even. Arms can be by the sides. Close your eyes. Good. Take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Squeeze your knees back in. Can squeeze your forehead up towards the knees and then bring the feet down to the mat and extend the legs out for a full body stretch, arms overhead, feet in the opposite direction. And then bring your arms down by your sides. Roll your shoulders away from the ears. Soften the chest. Hands a little bit wider than the mat. Palms facing up. Let the feet fall out to the sides, about as wide as the mat. Close your eyes. Now start moving through the body, letting go of any tension that could be left, starting at the crown of the head. Just work your way all the way down, nice and slow, letting go of any tension, any tightness, any wrinkles in the skin. Just let everything completely soften, release, and relax. Let the ground carry your body weight and enjoy these last few moments here in Shavasana. Deepening your breath. And bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. If it would feel good, you could do another full body stretch with your arms overhead and your feet in the opposite direction. Maybe even arch the back a little bit. Could even go from side to side. And then bend your knees, placing your feet onto the floor. Roll onto your right hand side, using your right arm for a pillow. Just take a couple breaths here on the side, feeling your lungs and ribs expand in every direction. And with the strength of your arms, slowly push yourself up to seated. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Come to an easy cross-legged pose and put your non-dominant leg in front. So the leg that feels a little bit weird in front. Pull the flesh away from the sitting bones so you can bring your pelvis more into a neutral. Have the palms open on the knees. Nice long spine, chin parallel to the ground. Come back to your breath. Let your face be relaxed. Now compare how you're breathing now to how you were breathing when you first sat down on your mat with me today. Compare how your body's feeling. Your mind, and your emotions. And circle your hands together in front of your heart into prayer one final time. Come back to your affirmation. Repeat that in your mind 3 times with your breath. Good, and take one final breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting go of anything that's standing in your way of achieving that affirmation. And then you can bow down to where it feels good for you. Bring your thumbs from your heart center up to your third eye, your forehead, sealing in your practice, acknowledging the energy that's within you, around you, connects us all together and never goes away. That energy within me acknowledges that energy within you, and I thank you so much for letting me guide you through your practice today. Don't forget to thank yourself as well. Namaste.